And welcome back into the Recliner Media Network here, reclinermedia.com. You just saw us not too long ago, but we are back for sports and other entertainment show here on the network. Mark Saxton, Michael Spillane back with you. We were just talking a few minutes ago. By the way, Mark, I forgot to ask you, did any tears come out during that finale for you?
Not for me. I thought there would have been a couple of scenarios where it would have, but those never surfaced. So I went out. I went out of there unscathed.
Well, good for you. I did not get so lucky. Like I said, a lot of emotional scenes and stuff like that. So I did not escape unscathed. And then even when I'm watching, like, I catch myself watching these reaction videos of other people watching it, and I mean, that makes me shed tears. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just me in my old age and refusing to let go of things. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Hating
like
when things end and stuff like that. I don't know what it is.
Like I said, kind of an end of an era. I think it kind of hit us all pretty hard. It was definitely emotional and kind of just we all got attached to all those characters. So yeah, definitely can understand.
Yeah. So on a brighter note, we'll be talking about some sports and stuff like that, NFL, college football playoff, and then we'll dive into our other entertainment portion of the show as well. We'll spin the reel review to see what our next week's watching assignments are. So we'll get into that. And did you remember what you had to watch this week without looking at the title of the episode?
I didn't even look at the title. I don't remember.
Well, you had to watch Ant-Man, by the way. So
oh, that's right.
Good luck recapping that, I guess. But I had to watch I had to watch Die Hard. So we'll get into that coming up, and then we'll respin for next week. We usually kick things off with what are you watching? This is the last week, Mark, the last week of NFL action before we head into the playoffs. This is kind of one of those weird weeks where it's weird for like at least betting purposes because you don't know who. It's hard because a lot of people are resting guys, and I guess if you're the case like the Broncos, you're playing all your starters, but you want that number one seed. So how long are you playing them? Do you rest them at certain points? So a lot of things happen already as we run through some of these games. The Giants take care of the Cowboys 34-17. I couldn't even tell you who the starting quarterback was for your Packers, Mark, but they fell to the Vikings 16-3. I think it was Uncle Rico or something like that. Jaguars all over the Tennessee Titans to win the AFC South Division title. Yeah, Tebow. 41-7, the Jaguars all over the Titans. Browns, how about that, over the Bengals 20-18. That one featured a 97-yard interception return for a touchdown. Texans, after being down a lot in this game, they take care of the Colts 38-30. The Phillip Rivers experiment is over. Maybe, thank God. The Falcons beat the Saints 19-17, which means, Mark, the Carolina Panthers are NFC South Division titles. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, despite winning, are out of the playoffs. How crazy is that?
All from grace.
Yeah, and then the Seattle Seahawks last night beat down, I guess I should say, 13-3 over the San Francisco 49ers. Seahawks clinch not only the NFC West, but they clinched the number one seed in the NFC. So that was crazy. Games in action right now, Philadelphia and Washington deadlocked at 17 apiece, just over 3 minutes to go in that game. Just a stupid, ugly, garbage game. The Vegas Raiders right now on top of the Kansas City Chiefs 11-9, whatever the hell kind of score that is. The Rams all over the Cardinals right now 37-20. Buffalo all over the Jets right now 35-8. The Bears and the Lions deadlocked at 16 apiece. Really nothing game for either of these teams. Bears do have the division locked up. And then the New England Patriots who were hoping for a Denver loss because they would have claimed the number 1 seed. They're all over Miami, 38-10. Speaking of Denver, they are on top of the Chargers. Chargers aren't playing anybody because they could not really move in the standings, so they're resting a bunch of guys, but they're down 16-3. Denver playing a lot of guys because they wanted the number 1 seed, and they're on top 16-3. Sunday Night Football is going to be, I hate both of these teams, Mark, but it's going to be a clash because the winner of this game is in the playoffs. This is the last playoff seeding, I guess. Last playoff position that's open right now is the winner of the AFC North. So the Ravens coming in at 8-8 and the Steelers coming in at 9-7. Obviously, if the Steelers win, they're in. And if the Ravens win, they're in because they have the tiebreaker. So whoever wins is in, Mark. The other one goes home. So actually, Sunday Night Football is going to be a good one.
Yeah, no, and another piece of history for Mike Tomlin, another season where he will not have a losing season. But it's kind of crazy to me how beat up everybody in that AFC North is at this point. I mean, just all the injuries, all of the having to fill spots and kind of limp along these last almost damn near all season long for everybody in the North. But yeah, it'll be fun. Like you said, I don't really care for either of those teams either, but it'll be a nice breath of fresh air for a Sunday night game, meaningful football, and everything on the line. So it'll be exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah, once again, the last playoff door is open. Just to run through the standings, as we said, Patriots have clinched the AFC East, and they needed a Denver loss to get that number 1 seed. Does not look like that's going to happen. So obviously, if something crazy happens, the Broncos will have a first-round bye in the playoffs. Have not said that in over 10 years, which is crazy. Buffalo is also into the playoffs as they're going to finish with a 12-5 record in that AFC East. AFC North, we just talked about, and obviously the Bengals and Browns are out. And the AFC South, Jacksonville clinched a division. They finished the season at a quiet mark, a quiet 13-4. Did not see that
exclamation mark though on that on Lawrence's year this year. He's had a hell of a year.
Yeah, and then Houston also I wouldn't say snuck in a wild card spot. They were 12-5 this season, and they have a hell of a defense. So they're going to be scary to play in the playoffs. It's just that can C.J. Stroud step up in the playoffs? That's what we're gonna witness here. And obviously the Colts and Titans are out. We just mentioned Denver and the Chargers are the 2 in from the AFC West. Denver, again, barring any craziness that happens in the last few minutes of that game, will have the number 1 seed in the AFC. Chargers will go to 11-6 on the season. And it's, again, crazy to say, but the Chiefs are not in the playoffs. And the Raiders, we're used to saying that, though. It's been 30 years since the Raiders were relevant, so there you go. Obviously in the NFC, Philadelphia clinched the NFC East. They are the only team from the NFC East to get in. They could either finish 12-5 or 11-6. Still waiting for that game to wrap up. We just kind of mentioned it. Bears win the NFC North. Green Bay right behind them. Despite the loss, they finished with a 9. Hey, that tie got them into the playoffs.
That tie was clutch. That tie ended up coming in clutch. And I hate saying that because not only is it a tie, but then it was also against Dallas.
Yeah. But hey, it could have came down to today if it wasn't for that tie.
Right. I completely agreed. I'm happy. We're in the dance. Rest up. Like I said, just get in there, get healthy, and let's go on a run.
Yeah, and a down year, obviously, for the Detroit Lions finishing the season. They're going to finish maybe 8-9, depending on what they do with the Bears here, or 9-8. Is Dan Campbell in any kind of trouble after his first? I don't want to say overachieving years, but then you run into a buzzsaw here, and you're going to finish with either a losing record or 1 game above 500. You don't think he's in any kind of trouble?
No, I think if he is, that organization is in more trouble than what it appears to be, because he's changed the entire culture of that Lions team, where now they're demanding playoff appearances. So that in itself, he changed. Where in past years it was like, okay, let's just not have a losing record, right? And on top of that, I don't know about the Vikings. They've kind of been up and down this year, just in general with injuries, maybe questions at the quarterback spot. But the entire North as a whole has gotten better, right? I mean, the Bears obviously have leaps and bounds better. Minnesota, like I said, question maybe at the quarterback, maybe some injuries. Packers, still one of the youngest teams in the NFL, if not the youngest teams, and I mean they're tearing through everything as well. So it's not just Detroit. They got to remember that entire North has gotten better. When you're 8-8 at this juncture of the season and you were already eliminated, you know you're in a hell of a division. Period. So I think he's fine. I think he's done his job. Come back at it next year. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, and then we can make a decision. Is how I would approach it.
And then in the NFC South, we just mentioned the Carolina Panthers, despite losing yesterday, and Atlanta had to beat New Orleans. Crazy, just crazy. This is what's we mentioned. It's kind of a weird day because a lot of starters aren't playing. Whatever seeding, playoff positioning, but also there is some fights to get into the playoffs. And Carolina, if they would have won yesterday, they wouldn't have had any problem. So they needed New Orleans to lose to get in, which I didn't understand because New Orleans is way out of it. Atlanta, I'm guessing because of I don't know how it all worked, but either way, Carolina's in with an 8-9 record. Again, shitty NFC South division this year. And so Carolina is the NFC South champions. In the NFC West, we just kind of touched on it. Seattle is the only one. Who would have thought how hot the Rams started, how hot the 49ers started? For Seattle to kind of like just rise from the ashes and claim that top spot. Speaking of, do you think Minnesota is regretting let Sam Darnold walk? That was kind of stupid. And Absolutely. So, yeah, Seattle finishes with I mean, this is maybe one of the, you mentioned the NFC North, but this NFC West, maybe one of the best divisions in football. You had 3 teams finish with 10-plus wins and only one gets in. Crazy.
Agreed. No, that NFC West ended up being a juggernaut. And honestly, the Cardinals could have been there if they, in my opinion, if they would have had somebody that can wrangle in Murray.
In their defense, a bunch of video games came out last year.
Yeah, I was just gonna make that joke. They could have. I was gonna say if they could have wrangled them in before Battlefield hit the market and the new Call of Duty and this and that. But yeah, no, the NFC West arguably the best division in the league. They're just killing it this year.
Yeah, so Seattle once again claims the top spot in the NFC, which we haven't said for maybe since what 2013-ish when they when they destroyed the Broncos in the Super Bowl. But yeah, so we are just awaiting once again the Steelers and the Ravens to see who gets the last and final AFC spot. It'll be a wild card spot. Denver just took a 16-3 lead over the Chargers. Again, Chargers really aren't moving anywhere. They'll get in, and Buffalo right now is in. So we're just waiting Sunday Night Football. Again, meaningful Sunday Night Football game. So it is going to be a fight to the finish for, we mentioned kind of the best divisions in football this year. The AFC North, they just beat the hell out of each other, though.
Yeah, and multiple starting quarterbacks going. I think everybody in that AFC North had a starting quarterback go down at one point or the other. All the nagging injuries on the defensive side for, like I said, damn near that entire AFC North. And for whatever reason, I mean, any one of those teams could be 3-13 and still play their division rival like a Super Bowl caliber team. It's absolutely crazy to me how hard and how tough that AFC North is.
Yeah. So as it stands right now as well, the Patriots game is final. So they have them at the number 1 seed, but once the Broncos wins, they will become the number 1 seed because of tiebreakers and weird stuff and witches, cauldrons and stuff like that. So the Jaguars will have the 3rd seed. The Houston Texans will have the 5th seed. The Bills will have the 6th seed, and the Chargers will have the 7th seed. Once again, Broncos should win, so they will capture that number 1 seed. And the NFC kind of touched on it. Seahawks number 1. By the way, the Bears just lost 19-16, so that game has gone final. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter. Seahawks with that number 1 seed. Bears with the 2 seed, unless the Eagles hang on, and then the Eagles will claim that number 2 seed because the Bears just lost. So that's the only really thing that could change in the NFC standings right now as far as playoff seeding. Panthers are number 4. That is ridiculous. It's ridiculous because the Seahawks won that West, so that automatically slides the 49ers down to a wild card team, which is crazy. And they're going to they finish with a 12-5 record. And yeah, that's just crazy. Just crazy how the Panthers are going to be the 4th seed. And the Packers will be the 7th seed at a 9-7 record, which is good. Again, that tie came in clutch. So you can't harp on it too long.
Like I said, just happy to be at the dance. Let's get healthy and let's go on a run. I mean, it's unfortunate. They had their opportunities to win elsewhere to not be the number 7 seed, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and I correct my mistake. I said only 1 NFC West team got in. 3 NFC West teams got in, by the way, which is also remarkable and kind of rare that 3 teams in one division got in. But again, when you're 14-3, 12-5, and 11-5, you should be you should be somewhere in there. And the Rams should improve to 12-5 as well. They are 38 seconds away from beating Arizona 37-20. So that is how the playoff standings sit right now. Really, again, the only thing that could change is if the Eagles lose to the Commanders and they were tied at 17 apiece, and then they would slide up to that number 2 seed. But as of right now, the Bears hold that number 2 seed, but they did just lose to the Lions. So kind of last minute shuffling, but not too much.
And you know what? Especially if I'm like the Niners or the Rams, obviously you want, home field advantage, you want the higher seeding, you want all of that. But at the same token of time, teams like those who have been on fire as of late, especially the Rams, it's almost not a bad thing to start off in a wild card, to keep it that pace, keep that high pace, keep that high energy. It could be a blessing in disguise to help, like I said, go on a run and keep that momentum going. Yeah.
So we will obviously know more in a couple hours when the AFC is wrapped up. The last AFC spot, again, awaiting either Baltimore or Pittsburgh, and then maybe some weird, guys with the same record and some tiebreakers here and there, but not much moving around will happen before tomorrow. So we'll keep an eye on all of that as the late afternoon games are wrapping up as we speak. All right, Mark, anything else on your watch list over? It's been a couple weeks since we did this show, but anything else have been on your watch list?
Absolutely. Hockey in full swing. Love it. My Red Wings showing out. They dropped a couple games, so they're sitting in tied for second in that Atlantic. But before the new year, they were sitting on top of that conference for the first time since, I don't know, I was a teenager, so that felt nice. But yeah, love it. Love hockey. The Olympics are going to be coming up when the United States team does look stout. So I'm excited to see what they do and how they perform in February. Great sport. Excited to see it go.
Yeah. Did you see who's still number 1 though?
I did see that. Like I said, you want to talk about stacked teams. The Avs are crazy good, and they're crazy good at finishing. Even with those 7 overtime losses, they're still getting points. They're still having productive losses. So,
yeah, only 2 regulation losses, which is just crazy. They've won 10 in a row, by the way. They scored 3 goals in the third period last night to slam the door on Carolina in their beautiful blue Nordiques jerseys. And also the Hurricanes were wearing their throwback Hartford Whalers jerseys, which was pretty cool. So, yeah, the Avs are killing it right now. Anything less than at least a championship appearance is going to be absolutely devastating if they don't at least get it. But I am scared of the the President's Trophy curse.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
more, I mean, I mean, they've all but wrapped up the President's Trophy at this point, sitting at where they are. They're already at 69 points, um, with only 41 games played. So we're halfway through the season, and they're almost at 70 points. Crazy. They are playing right now, and they are down to the Florida Panthers 2-1. But we'll keep an eye on that. Other thing I'm watching, obviously women's college basketball. Obviously, you can see the shirt and hat I'm wearing. Iowa ranked number 14 right now in the country. They'll play Northwestern. They're in Big Ten play right now. They just beat Nebraska, who's kind of been their bugaboo the last couple of seasons. But they did take care of Nebraska the other day. They are 3-0 in Big Ten play, 12-2 overall. They dropped a couple of close games, and they were down some people. UCLA obviously on top right now, 14-1 overall, 4-0 in the conference. They literally just gave up, Mark, only 46 points to the USC Trojans, crosstown rivals for the Bruins, and they won 86-46 or something crazy like that.
Ouch.
With Reggie and Cheryl Miller in attendance.
Have a night. That's a win. That's a clobber. That's a certified ass kicking.
Yeah, you think it would be closer for not only being rivals, but for, I mean, USC's ranked. Obviously, UCLA is ranked, and so you thought it would be a closer game. But Lauren Betts, Colorado's own Lauren Betts, by the way, really stepping up in these last couple of games. She had 18 points, 12 rebounds. She had a ferocious block in that game as well. And so, yeah, I'm excited for the rest of the women's college basketball season as we're in tournament play right now. And then, you know what's in a couple months, Mark? We're already there, March Madness.
I love it. Love that time of year. Love March Madness. I love to see what these college athletes can do in such little time. So, one of my favorite times of the year.
There you go. All right. Anything else on your watch list?
Just that college football playoff. It's wrapping up, and I think it's going to be a good one. I really liked Miami and Ole Miss taking down the Giants, if you will, where Ole Miss taking down Georgia, Miami taking down Ohio State. Huge, huge victories for those two getting set to face off. Indiana and Oregon having absolutely zero fight back from the teams that they played. Texas Tech. Remember, I was telling you guys, last couple weeks, not convinced on Texas Tech. I don't think they've really played anybody serious. And Oregon came in and just put the whooping on them. And then I'd love to see Bama get mollywopped 38-3. So I think this is shaping up to be a good playoff. I'm excited to see who's going to make the Natty. Some fresh blood in there. Miami, Ole Miss, and I know Oregon and Indiana have been in and out and around lately, but it's good to see some different names up there.
Yeah, that Ole Miss game was crazy. It was back and forth, and then Ole Miss finally was able to come on top. I thought Ohio State, like you mentioned, maybe would have put up more of a fight. I think a lot of people thought Miami was tough, Mark, but I think a lot more people thought that Ohio State would put up a little bit more of a fight. Again, maybe the same story with Alabama, but always good to see them, like you said, get absolutely destroyed. Indiana's got a lot going for them with not only the Heisman Trophy winner, the number 1 seed, and now a chance for a national championship. And like you said, Texas Tech couldn't even score a point, so good for Oregon. Yeah, going to be a cool Final Four, and like it, almost like you said for some of the NFC, or excuse me, some of the NFL playoff picture. It's going to be it's already a breath of fresh air for this college football playoff. Different teams.
Absolutely.
Some new names in there, some teams we haven't seen in a long time. So it's already a breath of fresh air.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. And on top of it all, it's good to see that those new teams that are coming in, they're putting on quality wins as well. Like it's not It's not a fluke. Miami. I'll be honest. I had Texas A&M beating them. I really did. Texas A&M had a hell of a year, beat a lot of tough teams, and being able to hold Texas A&M to no touchdowns, winning 10-3, and then coming to win against Ohio State. It's good to see, like I said, the fresh blood coming in and kind of just winning quality games and keeping it entertaining. Not 67-3 or 75-10. Like they're good quality games. So that's also been a plus on that as well.
Do you have any predictions for these games? Do you Oregon, Indiana, Ole Miss, and Miami? Does Miami keep the train rolling against Ole Miss?
Man, I think I've been more wrong than not this year. I've bet against Miami since the playoffs started, and I think I'm going to do it again. I think Ole Miss is going to come in and handle business. And I hate to say that because Miami's done phenomenally. So let me start off there. I think I think Ole Miss though. I think there's just something special about that team. All the hype around Lane Kiffin. I think everybody kind of forgot, how good at football they really are. So I'm taking Ole Miss on that, and then I'm going to take Oregon over Indiana. I think Oregon. There, you know what? How many years in a row they get to that area or to this area of the playoff? Kind of, always a bridesmaid, never a bride type thing. Moore has looked good all year at the quarterback spot for him, so I'm gonna take Oregon. I'm gonna take Oregon for the upset.
There you go. I'm just going to be a bandwagoner, I guess. I'm going to pick Indiana. I'm going to pick Indiana, and I throw this out there. I think Miami's going to keep the hurricane rolling, if you will, pun intended. Yeah, it's
It's
always
not
fun
a
to see
terrible choice.
always fun to see Michael Irvin out there without a shirt on. So
Belt to ass.
there you go, there you go. And again, once again, the third thing on my list here is the 3-on-3 Unrivaled League getting going here in just a couple of days. Excuse me, tomorrow is the first day of play. They had a couple of scrimmages, preseason type games. So our first set of games will be tomorrow from Miami. Couldn't tell you what little arena that they're playing in, but the first game will be at 11 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. And these games are on TNT, True TV, and you can watch them on HBO Max as well. So the first game, we're going to have the Mist against the Hive. Once again, the Hive is one of the new teams this season. And then we'll have the Vinyl against the Laces tomorrow. That'll be at 12:15 Mountain Time. And then the rest of the game. So they only play twice a week, Mark. They play on Mondays and Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So they only play on really weekends, but obviously starting tomorrow will be the first one. Then the second set of games will be at night. We'll have the Lunar Owls against the Rose, and then we'll have the Phantom against the Breeze. Breeze is another new team, and then the rest of the games will continue on Friday. So I'm excited for that. A lot of new faces. We already went through the kind of the rosters and stuff like that. And it was also announced that Nafisa Collier will have to sit out this Unrivaled season. If you remember, she got hurt in the playoffs last year for the Minnesota Lynx. Been rehabbing and stuff like that. And she is a co-founder of this Unrivaled League with Brianna Stewart. And she's just not able to get going. You almost rather her rest and save her strength for the WNBA season. So Nafisa Collier will be out for the Lunar Owls. And I kind of like the setup, Mark, because once a person goes down, they just shuffle somebody right in. I mean, last year we saw somebody get hurt. Someone came in, took their spot. That player came back healthy. The player who replaced them was able to go to another team. So there is like another roster for like injuries, and that those people can be on as many teams as they need to fill in, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I love that aspect. I mean, it's like I said, it's the sport as a whole is growing to see and give more opportunity to more of those athletes coming up. So I think that's been my favorite part of this journey, watching them grow. And like I said, the opportunity that's now becoming available that wasn't once there is astronomically differently. So I'm excited just for that aspect. I think it's going to be fun getting to see new faces, new names, new situations. It's like, well, I mean, kind of the theme of the night: a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. All right, anything else on your watch list, or should we move on to what we're not watching?
Let's go to the not watching list.
Yeah, well, I guess one of the only things I have is I don't know what's going on with Stephon Diggs in the news again for some crap. Don't know how you're going through this when you're dating. Who is he dating? Cardi B
Party, yeah.
or is it the other one? Nicki
Is it
Minaj.
Nicki
One of them.
Minaj?
Because I know Klay Thompson is. I get the three female headline rappers all confused, but I do know that Klay Thompson is dating Megan Thee Stallion, so she's out of this running. So it's either Cardi B or Nicki Minaj, and I'm thinking it's Cardi B. Or do
I think
we?
you're
I
right.
don't know. Nobody knows. But yeah, he's once again in the news. I haven't heard much else on it, but it just seems like his career's at almost a crossroads. Been on a couple teams in a couple years now, and so we're seeing this. I don't know if it's a trend, but we're seeing something continue with this.
Yeah, it's Stephon Diggs, man. He's starting to be the not as bad as Ja, but I mean he's starting to have a trend here. I don't know. Same thing. I mean, you might give him a hug when you see him on the street. Might tell him everything's gonna be okay.
If you're a
And
man, yes, you could try to give him a hug. But
yeah.
by the way, Broncos did win 19-3 today, so they are the number one seed in the AFC for the first time since 2015 with Peyton Manning and company when they last won a Super Bowl. So there is your number one seed clinched in the AFC. And again, we're just waiting for Baltimore, Pittsburgh tonight to fill in the rest of the AFC picture. But yeah, do not give him a hug if you're the other gender on the street.
Right. Yeah, avoid them. Um, maybe cross the street to to make sure you're not walking on the same path.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's again, have you heard much else on that?
I haven't. I really have. I was kind of hoping to get more information before we started this show because that's one of the things I was looking up because I'm like, here we go again.
I mean, he did get the start today. It says Stephon Diggs starts in first game after assault allegations. So
We'll
and he
see.
and he reached 1,000-yard milestone. So and he got a bonus. So maybe he's able to pay off this whole thing. I don't know.
Lawsuit taken care of. Settle it out
There
of
it is.
court.
He's like, hey, I need that 1,000 yards. I got some stuff to pay off.
All right. Find me as much as you can today.
All right. Anything else you're not watching? By the way, let me get this out of there. Draymond Green ejected again because of technicals. Once again, hugs are at a premium maybe in this world, but I would be cautious hugging that man as well. He might just go off on you.
He might try to stomp on your chest. Or was it the back? I forget. um, no, on my not watching list, kind of scrolling through all the socials today, and I don't understand where fans' minds are at. I saw a couple of different pages today. Chargers fans, Packer fans. There was a couple of uh, oh, I forget the other teams, but basically they're going on there ranting and raving. I want LaFleur's job or I want Harbaugh's job. Why aren't they starting the starters? Why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that? And it's like, first and foremost, the majority of the table was set before today even took place. So why not take that time to rest? Number two is, even if your team lost today, who it doesn't matter. You got a seat at the dance. That's all you need. Rest up and try and make an impact on getting your full team back together. I know at least for the Packers, I think the last I checked, there was like 25 guys on that injury reserve. So I mean, there's just those injuries and especially some of the key injuries. You need those guys out there for the playoffs. You don't need them for a kick around game that's not going to make a difference for you today. And I'm even going to go a step further, where even if you had a chance to jump up in the seedings, let's say from 5 to 4 or from 7 to 6. Is it worth it to try and beat yourself up more for maybe one home game? I mean, at best, or is it worth it to get back healthy to be able to make damage no matter where you're at? So I don't understand where fans' minds go this time of year.
Yeah, I just think people are just looking for anything negative that they can put a spin on. Just like we saw for Stranger Things. So yeah, it'll be like you said, you don't want it is a crazy time, like we mentioned, going through the playoff scenarios and stuff like that. Like so many guys are sitting, they can't move playoff positionings, they can't move up or down the standings. So, why start these guys? Like for the Chargers, like Justin Herbert already missed a month because he had a broken finger or hand or whatever. And so you want to go into the playoffs as fresh and as healthy as possible. And it's tough in any sport when you get down to the last couple games or week or whatever it is of the season, and you're just beat up, bruised. Every team's going through it, and you just football has the luxury of doing this, of resting guys and stuff like that. And I'm sure other sports too, but football's, I think, more known for it, more widespread for resting guys when you can't move or up and down the standings and stuff like that. And that's why fantasy football doesn't go to the very end of the season, because of stuff like this as well. So there you go.
Right.
By the way, speaking of that, shout out to Colin, one of the hosts of oh man, I forgot the name of their show. How embarrassing is that? They haven't been on in a while, so maybe that's why. Maybe that's Undrafted Uncensored, by the way. One of the hosts for that. I think he won the fantasy football championship that we ran as a network, which sucks because he won either last year or he won the fantasy basketball. I think he won fantasy football last year, if I'm not mistaken. He won something before, because I had to buy him tickets to a game. So
congratulations, Colin. And I'm just going to throw this out there. I was ranked second until the last couple weeks, and then I just got obliterated at the playoffs.
Hey, I thought I was like going to be 0-17 or so. I finished 4-10. That was more respectable than I thought.
There you go.
I think
I finished in 5th. So,
by the way, A. Ramsey finished as the number 1 seed at a 13-1 record. He lost to Colin in the championship. I think, if I'm reading this right, he lost in the championship to Colin 269 to 223. So Colin, once again, let me know what game you want to go to, as that is the number 1 trophy that you get. Aiden Ramsey, if you're listening, watching, whatever, you came in second. So let me know what jersey that you want. And then who came in third? It is F3s. I don't know who that is, but they came in third. They were the 4th seed heading into the playoffs at a 9-5 record. You'll have to let me know, and we'll send you $100. But those are your top 3 finishers in fantasy football. Sorry, Joe from Walk Off Sports. You just missed it. You finished 11-3, and you lost in the consolation bracket, 192 to 135. By the way, the Avalanche just lost in regulation, Mark, 2-1 to the defending champion Florida Panthers. So there's your 3rd regulation loss of the season.
Wow, that's huge. That's huge. But hey, it's all, everybody's got to lose once in a while, right?
There you go. So if you're watching, listening, I'll also reach out to you via social media. Colin, I just texted you to make sure you did win, if I'm reading this right. The way they have this bracket set up on here is kind of weird. So yeah, just let me know, Colin, what game you want to go to. Once again, it'll be at the very top of the arena. So if you're expecting like courtside, center ice, 50-yard line, whatever, you are sadly mistaken. And again, if you win the number 1 seed and you want a jersey instead, totally fine with that. If you want to trade it in, the number 2, if you don't want a jersey and you want cash. But if the lower seed you are and you don't want the $100 and you want a game ticket, then you're on your own for that, pal. But you only can trade down, if you know what I mean.
That's right.
So there you go. I
No.
think that's how the top 3 finished in our fantasy football league.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. And F3s, man, I was right there. I was right there, right behind him. I just missed a seat at the table.
Yeah, so there it is, our top 3. Anything else on your not watch list? I don't have much else.
Nope, that's all I got.
Well, that means it is time as we transition over to our entertainment portion of the podcast. We said all we could about Stranger Things, so go look that up on YouTube and on our website, and you can get our final recap on Stranger Things. By the way, I asked you this 2 weeks ago if you saw the new trailer for Avengers Doomsday. We watched it here. Did you see the other new one with another favorite hero coming back?
I have not. Of course, I've been running and gunning lately, so I feel like I'm behind on everything.
Would you like to watch it?
I would. I very much would.
Let me pull it up and let me not mess it up because I normally do. And so let me share the screen with you and we can get this going. And again, we got what? Freaking months until this comes out.
Almost
But
a
here is
year.
the new Avengers Doomsday trailer.
Father, all my life I have answered every call to honor, duty, to war. But now fate has given me something I never sought. A child. A life untouched by the storm. Lend me the strength of the old fathers, so that I may fight once more, defeat one more enemy, and return home to her. Not as a warrior, but as warmth. To teach her not battle, but stillness. The kind I never knew. Please, Father, heed my words.
I love that. I love that. I love Thor.
That is the new Avengers Doomsday trailer with Thor, another character we thought maybe wasn't coming back
Right.
to the story. So now we got I'm gonna say Steve Rogers. I'm not gonna say Captain America because he did pass on that man. I wonder if he's gonna go up to to Falcon and be like, "Yo, give me my shield back." I don't know. But and again, Thor. It is funny because I don't know. I did laugh at some of these memes. It was with the Stranger Things cast, and they showed 11 at the three waterfalls, and it said 11 will return in Avengers Doomsday. I thought that was pretty funny.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, because we don't know what we really truly don't know what happened. So there you go. So 2 weeks ago we re-rolled. We kind of scrapped everything and did everything, and we re-rolled. And by the sounds of the beginning of the show, Mark, you did not maybe watch Ant-Man, or are you going to go off far memories, or what are you going to do here? Would you like me to go? Would you like me to go first so you can collect your thoughts?
I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm not even gonna lie. I completely failed. I dropped the ball. I didn't fulfill my obligation for this part of the show.
And there was a lot going on. We had to watch Stranger Things. It was
Holidays.
two holidays. Yeah.
Just unfortunate timing. I gotta make it up this week. I think I'll take whatever I get, and I'll watch Ant-Man, and I'll come back with two reviews next week.
Well, I can put a quick recap into ChatGPT, and we'll get Ant-Man just out of the way and done. Unless you want to go watch it. So I had to watch Die Hard, and we did this, and it kind of worked because we did this 2 weeks ago in the midst of Christmas. So we'll get to that portion in a minute. Die Hard first one came out in '88, by the way, so I was a year old when this puppy came out. Obviously, it follows a NYPD cop, John McClane, a very well-known character played by Bruce Willis. Travels to LA on Christmas Eve to reconcile with his estranged wife, Holly. Oh, a familiar name in our recent podcast, only to find her office holiday party taken hostage by a group of criminals led by the cool and calculated Hans Gruber. Alan Rickman, right? Hans Gruber.
Yep. Professor Snape, if you will.
Fantastic. Old Warriors. What makes Die Hard really stand out, I think, is how grounded it is, and it feels kind of, I don't want to say over the top, I don't want to say forced, but maybe it is kind of over the top. McClane isn't an unstoppable superhero. He's running around barefoot, Mark, bleeding, exhausted. He's constantly outmatched, it seems. Bruce Willis also brings that humor portion to it as well. Kind of that comic relief as well as being the main character. So that's always cool to see. Alan Rickman, again, Hans Gruber, equally iconic, delivering one of the best villain / bad guy. But I don't want to say you're almost rooting for him, but you're almost, he's got a lot of charm, intelligence. He just brings life to that character, and it's super cool to see. R.I.P. Alan Rickman. The whole thing is all basically filmed, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong, in the Naratakami Plaza. Again, didn't really cost a lot of money to make this because it was filmed in one location in an air vent. So you didn't really have to spend a lot of money on this. Again, uses the space brilliantly. Nobody really knew that this film was going to blow up the way it did, and now it's questioning whether it's a Christmas movie. So that enters like a whole kind of different stratosphere of movie stardom, if you will. It's that cat and mouse tension, sharp dialogue, perfectly placed set pieces. Nearly 4 decades later, it remains one of the highly watched movies on streaming services. I found this note too, especially during obviously the holiday season. So that's the big question. Is it a Christmas movie?
Yes, it is, and I will die on this hill every time.
So I will say this is the first time I've watched it in a very long time, and probably the first time I've watched it during the Christmas season. And I'll be honest with you, Mark, I didn't really feel jolly watching it. Like, I didn't feel the Christmas you come out of it.
You were supposed to feel the yippee-ki-yay. Yeah, that's what you were supposed to feel. That is Christmas enough for me.
Yeah. So I did not, though. I thought that was inappropriate for Christmas, maybe. But yeah, all joking aside, it's been a long time, like I said, that I've watched this, and I might get hate for this. Didn't really land with me. Maybe back then it did when I first watched it. Maybe there was a reason why I hadn't watched it in a long time. I'm glad I did watch it for the first time in a long time, but honestly, Mark, I probably could go the rest of my days without watching it and not even remember this movie existed.
That breaks my heart a little bit. That I couldn't disagree more. I love that movie. I love the series.
I'm gonna do the shrugging shoulders emoji and move on with my day.
Move on with your life.
Again, I love Bruce Willis. I love Alan Rickman. Their back and forth was brilliant, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. Just one of those movies that didn't resonate with me. I don't know why.
The shame. Yeah, no, like I said, one of my favorite series, especially now I got a machine gun, ho, ho, ho. Just the clever lines. And yeah, you're looking back, it's the 80s, probably a little corny now, but it'll always have a special place in my heart for sure.
There you go. Yeah, so I don't know what the reason is. I just didn't feel it, Mark. And I love the actors again. I loved their characters. But the whole thing. I love the dude from frickin' Family Matters. Is the dude there?
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just weird. You know what I forgot to mention, by the way, on our Talking Strange podcast? For all of you that commented that said Max was never in the Upside Down, go rewatch the freaking series. Do you I wanted to mention this, by the way, on the podcast we just did, Talking Strange, but did we not watch the same show? Do you not remember her and 11 being in the cafeteria or gymnasium in the Upside Down?
That whole fight scene
where Vecna's like throwing them around. Like, do you not remember that?
It was. I don't understand that. Maybe just trying to rage bait is the only thing I could think of.
I guess. I don't know, and I don't care anymore. But I saw that comment on our TikTok, and I was like, and then they ended it with like, "What the heck are you talking about?" Like, so I had to pull out the receipts, Mark.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit.
I almost gave him a timestamp.
I don't blame you one bit. Like I said, none of that entire comment in itself, I'm like, immediately I was like, you're just trying to rage bait. You're trying to do something to piss somebody off because unless you just started picking up watching it at Thanksgiving and never watched another episode.
Yeah, but still, I guess. Unless you never made it to what, season 3, whatever that was. That was season 2.
Right.
Idiots all over.
Doesn't make sense.
All right, Mark. Well, I'm going to do a Chat GPT brief version for you on Ant-Man, the first Ant-Man.
Thanks for bailing me out.
So if it lands on Ant-Man again, you'll have to watch 2 Ant-Mans.
Fair enough.
So Ant-Man, the first one, came out in 2015, 10 years ago, introduces Scott Lang, played by the never-aging Paul Rudd, a well-meaning but down-on-his-luck thief who just wants to be a good father to his daughter, Cassie. After being reunited, brilliant with Hank Pym, played by Michael Douglas. This, by the way, the Ant-Man movies, I mean, the actors and actresses in this movie are just top-notch. Scott is given a high-tech suit that allows him to shrink to the size of an ant while gaining superhuman strength. His mission: stop Hank's former protege Darren Cross from perfecting and selling the dangerous Yellow Jacket technology. The film stands out. By the way, Evangeline Lilly is also in this movie. She plays the Wasp in the later Marvel movies. You might know her from Lost. Anyway, the film stands out by blending a classic heist story with superhero action and comedy. Paul Rudd brings warmth and humor to Scott Lang, making him one of the most relatable heroes in the MCU. And shrinking and growing gimmick is used creatively, turning everyday objects into massive battlegrounds and delivering some of Marvel's most intensive action scenes. At its heart, Ant-Man is about second chances. Scott is trying to rebuild his life. Hank making peace with his past, and Hope, which is Evangeline Lilly Van Dyne, stepping into her own heroic role. Lighter and more playful than any of the MCU entries, Ant-Man succeeds by embracing its smaller scale while delivering big laughs, heart, and memorable action. And then they put a little ant emoji. How cute.
Love it. Like I said, thanks for bailing me out.
That's what Chat GPT spewed out of its internet crevices. But yeah, these Ant-Man movies are pretty good. Love Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. Again, the Ant-Man movies, and then you'll see oh my God, you'll see Michelle Pfeiffer, who is Michael Douglas's wife, Hope's mom. You'll see her in the later MCU Ant-Man installments as well. So this cast is pretty cool. Again, Paul Rudd being in it, there's that humor, there's that comic relief as well. And I agree with what ChatGPT said. It's probably the most playful and most, I wouldn't say kid friendly, but it is kid friendly because he is trying to connect with his daughter more. So there is that aspect of it as well. But yeah, I would definitely love the Ant-Man movies.
Love Paul Rudd. He's a great actor. He always brings that comic relief.
The never aging Paul Rudd, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know what
a lot like Sam Elliott.
I don't know what kind of what he's taken, but yeah, I'm gonna need that when I get his age.
I'm gonna need that in about 10-15 years for me.
There you go. All right, well, it is time to spin the wheel review. as we do this every week, unless you're Mark and you just don't want to watch what you're assigned to.
Fair enough. I think I deserve that one.
I'm just kidding. So we'll pull it up. You are going first today because you did miss your assignment. So you're on the teacher's shit list. So,
right. Got to sit at the front of the class now.
There you go. All right. Let me know when you're ready.
Let's rock and roll.
By the way, what is this secret wheel?
What's that?
There's a thing on here that's a secret wheel. All right. TV show. There you go.
Hey, switching it up.
Let's see. So what did you get? TV show. TV show. Genre. Let's see what genre you get. Oh.
Uh-oh. Miniseries.
I
almost like these the best.
Did we remember to put a miniseries folder in here?
Yeah, that's a good question.
We did. What did you get last time? Did you get Band of Brothers?
I did.
All right. So if it lands on that, we'll respin it. Your favorite genre, your favorite. The Haunting.
Man.
By the way, the dad in this show is Elliot from it's Henry Thomas Elliot, who was the little boy in E.T.
Oh, nice.
So there you go. Almost connects. Yeah, I don't know how many episodes it is, but I was so craving a season 2 and it never came. That was like, I want to say like 6 or 8 years ago now.
All right. Yeah, I've never even heard of it, to be honest.
Yeah. So, all right. I guess I'll get spin the wheel here. TV show. What else is new? What happens if we land on the same one? Have we ever decided that?
We have not. It's never happened. But that's we got to come up with something special that goes.
That's funny.
You might have just spoken into existence.
All right. I hope so if it lands on Band of Brothers, to me, though, I get to watch that, right?
Yep.
If it lands on I'm respinning it. I don't care. Oof. All right, so this is kind of the sequel, if you will, to Band of Brothers. Because if you remember at the end of Band of Brothers, Dick, for lack of a better name, signs up to go to the Pacific where the other part of the war is being fought. And so this kind of tells that story. I don't think he's in this one. Do you remember? Have you watched?
So no, I don't think so. I think it just follows everybody else because most of it ends up in Australia area, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's been a very long. I think so Band of Brothers I'll watch like 2 times a year. The Pacific I've only watched once, like I don't know, 15 years ago. So
same.
I kind of like how it's landing on stuff I haven't watched in a while. So that's kind of the cool benefit of spinning the wheel review. So there you go. That's don't forget to watch, Mark.
I got this time I won't let you down.
Not only is it your favorite genre, but it's just a mini series. It's not going to be nothing too overbearing. So
hey, I'll watch it with the lights on. I'll be all right.
Yeah. So Haunting of Hill House, by the way, came out in 2018. So 7 years ago it came out. I've been waiting for a season 2 ever since. Never happened. So I guess it's just there's 10 episodes, by the way. So
Oof, we gotta get going.
Yeah, start that tonight. That's your homework.
All right, got it. I'm gonna have to watch 2 episodes a night, basically.
I'm still curious of what that secret wheel is. I don't know.
I didn't know that was there.
I didn't either. It's maybe why it's secret. I don't know. But that is going to do it for us here on the Mark When on the Mic here on the Recliner Media Network. Make sure you go to all of our social medias, Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and you can catch all of these episodes on our home base, reclinermedia.com. All the videos, all the podcasts on our front page, all of our articles. I'll be putting out a new one on the playoff matchups in the NFL. So stay tuned for that one. You can catch Pro Wrestling Daily, Between the Lines. Everything is on there. All of our on-demand stuff as well. And then, of course, the third-party on-demand sites, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcast. So go make sure you tell friends and family to subscribe and follow along as well. And thanks for also tuning in to our last and final Talking Strange podcast as well. That is already on YouTube as we speak. So go check that out as well. Mark, any final thoughts before we get on out of here?
Happy New Year to everybody, and looking forward to another great week. Where I will watch my homework assignment.
There you go. For Mark Saxton, I am Michael Spill, and we will talk to you next week.